Hola, bom dia. Carl Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal live stream, YouTube channel and podcast. Hola, bom dia. Tudo bem? How are you today? Do let me know. Wow, Paul straight in this morning. Hola, bom dia. It's hot here again. He's referring to the UK, everybody, where I think it's hot and muggy already. Shock horror. Good morning to you, Paul, by the way. Shock horror here in Portugal. It's been mizzly and drizzly, and we feel a little bit cold, but I'm guessing it's still way over 20 here. Still a little bit, muggy and humid. But yeah, the temperature has dropped in the last few days. Let's have a quick look at that weather then all across Portugal right now. Lisbon, 19 degrees and overcast. Yeah, okay, so it's cloudy around Portugal, apart from Faro, of course. A little bit of cloud there, but still the sun peeking out. So in Lisbon, yeah, 19 degrees this morning and overcast, rising to 26. However, Porto, I normally have my own little is it a thermometer, my weather station here on the desk here to tell you what the temperature is, but it's been moved. I share this studio desk with Mrs. M, the professional astrologer, and I'll find all sorts of funny things here. My thermometer's been moved. There are joss sticks now here on the table, as though she is some sort of new age stereotype. But anyway, I'm doing the weather. I must stop distracting myself. 19 degrees and overcast in Lisbon, rising to 26. Porto, 18 degrees and overcast, rising to 24. Coimbra, 18 degrees and overcast, rising to 28. Yeah, it feels like that kind of day. A little bit overcast, but very humid. And yeah, I can see that in the pipeline. 28 degrees here. We tend to experience the Coimbra weather where I am, between Aveiro and Coimbra. In Aveiro last night, incidentally, if you saw the starter screen there, the Praia de Barra. What a wonderful beach that is. And Faro, mostly cloudy, 21 degrees at the moment, rising to a magnificent 29 degrees. Yeah, so in Aveiro last night with our friends who you met yesterday morning, Henry and Nina and their family. They've done an amazing trip. I think they planned it quite intuitively, but they came into Faro and they've been to Tamar, and we took them around the Bairrada region yesterday and ended up in Aveiro yesterday evening and had a superb day. Really, really enjoyed ourselves. And there's been a lot of talk of vegan and vegetarian food and eating on the show just recently, and we went to De Terra last night, which is the Portuguese vegetarian and vegan buffet chain. Excuse me. It's changed. I have to say it's changed. I did a live video from there last night. I talked to the manager briefly beforehand. I always loved going to De Terra. I don't know why I didn't think of it to recommend it in the first place when we were talking about vegan and vegetarian food. I'm more of an opportunist rather than a vegan or a vegetarian, but their food is superb. And I have to say the ambiance, the experience has been hugely affected by COVID. Not their fault. You know, they are subject to the regulations, obviously, of what has to happen in catering at the moment. And what was once, how you could move around the island in the middle and enjoy the buffet, it is now looking like a railway station. Everything behind perspex screens, and you have to be served. And the seating plan is very different. A lot of interior designers who've gone to a lot of trouble to create beautiful atmospheric spaces in eateries must be crying at the moment, thinking, oh my word, my beautiful work has been destroyed by the pragmatism of the pandemic. More about the pragmatism of the pandemic tonight on Good Evening Portugal. We'll be reinstating Thompson Tuesday with Will Thompson, having a really good look at the politics behind the pandemic. But I have promised to keep it light in the mornings. Do remind me if I drift into the darkness of politics and the economy in the morning. We're meant to be easygoing and light, calma, tranquilo here on the Good Morning Portugal live stream in the morning. So if I do go that way, let me know. And we'll keep that sort of stuff for the evening show where we have a longer and more in-depth sort of conversation. So see you tonight for the pandemic politics. Right now, though, I'm going to keep it light and keep it brief and keep it all about you and your love of Portugal. And certainly we were up late last night, like proper Portuguese people, eating late, up with all the kids, had a fantastic time. Those wonderful sorts of evenings where you get home and you have to lift the sleeping children from the car and put them in bed. It was absolutely wonderful going to Aveiro and seeing Barra Beach after a few Yeah, months away from the seaside. And I think I have to say, I report back to you that our British friends, Henry and Nina, are very impressed with Portugal, and like many, have it firmly on their radar and would like to move here. Okay, so Steve and Claire, how are you? Oh, yeah, from a wet Manchester. Those two words just go together, don't they? Is Manchester anything other than wet any time of the year? Hola, bon dia from a wet Manchester from Claire and Steve. How are you doing, guys? Hope your motorhome is repaired and ready soon so that you can return here. Bon dia, hot and stormy in Kent. And that's from Dave and Debbie Wynell. Yeah, hot and stormy in Kent. And you're not just talking about the politics there. Oh, you wow. Good morning, Carl. Hi from New Delhi. Wow. Good morning to you, Anu from New Delhi. We've seen your face and your name before, but I didn't know you were in New Delhi. So great to have your company this morning. We're all over the world. Bon dia from Cardiff as well, from Jesse Ferguson. Good morning to you, Jesse. How are you doing? And agreed. I think that's probably about the would that be about a wet Manchester? Would that be about how we should keep the politics to the evenings and keep it nice and light-hearted in the mornings? I've got some toilet humor for you, Gary, today that I want to share and talk about with you. I was reminded by this, and you may know what I'm talking about if you're a man in this culture and as an expat or explorer man, immigrant, and you have gone into the ladies by mistake. I have on a number of occasions, didn't mean to, and I'll tell you more about that later and why I was reminded about that. So let's have a quick look at the news, shall we? Oh, actually, no. I've got a question for the community. A really hilarious Portuguese property picture to show you as well. Yeah, but from my live stream last night from Doterra, we had a question come in from Texas, would you believe? Can anyone answer this morning? What is the situation for people coming in from the US? Now, I know you can sort of trawl the web and find out technically what's supposed to happen at the airports for people coming into Portugal from America. But what's your experience if you've done that recently? Are the Portuguese allowing folks from the US in yet? I've heard of travelers from Mexico going to Europe, but it's tough enough just going through DFW. I had to look that up. And that's from Loy Long, who is in Texas. And DFW stands for Dallas Fort Worth Airport. So just, yeah, it's hard enough on the domestic front by the sound of it. But what is your experience? If you're American, have you been able to come into Portugal, and what was it like? So let's see if we can help out Loy Long this morning. Quick look at the news then, and then I will go to the Portuguese property picture I want to share with you, and this toilet humor. Nothing too rude for this time of day, I promise you. Just toilet related, I suppose. So Portugal news, let's find you. Where are you? Where's my Portugal news gone? Oh, here it is. Yes, let's see what's being said in the news this morning. But tell me, what's the news where you are? How are you? Who are you? Where are you in Portugal? Or if you're not in Portugal, where would you like to be in Portugal? And we are, yes, let's cover this because it relates directly to Loy's inquiry. Maybe there'll be some news about American visitors and visits here. So let me just share this on the screen. This will be the Portugal news, one of our news sources that we tend to rely on here. And yeah, President expects Portugal to be on green lists this month. The President of the Republic, Marcelo, and he of his Marselfies, has said that he hopes that Portugal will, by the end of August, be included on green lists for travel, including the United Kingdom. Some may say, and of course, it's not his fault, but that might be a little bit too late for a lot of people. I'm hopeful that as the days go on and until the end of the month, there will be a complete transition from the worst or intermediate lists to the best lists in terms of tourism, said Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa. The head of state stressed that tourism is increasing, albeit slowly, and stressed that the pandemic situation in Portugal has evolved positively, which favors the lifting of restrictions on the movement of people. This is very important for Madeira, and it's very important for the Algarve. It's very important for Porto, very important in general for Portugal, he declared. There is an evolution in the blacklist, let's call it that, in favor of Portugal, he said, reinforcing that Portugal, in fact, has been following a path opposite to that of many other European societies which are experiencing new outbreaks, which some consider to be a second wave. The President of the Republic underlined that the forecasts point to an increase in tourism in the country by the end of the month, and that he expects that the United Kingdom to change the restrictions it imposes on citizens travelling to Portugal, which currently call for visitors returning to the UK to quarantine for 14 days upon arrival. And it says here, if you disagree with the decision of the UK government to continue to leave Portugal off the airbridge list, then click here to find details on how to sign a petition and lobby UK ministers. And it's always very interesting to see the comments as well, actually, on the Portugal news there. But yes, you can sign a petition. I'm generally quite suspicious of petitions, I have to say. And can you imagine at the moment? I mean, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just thinking to myself, whoa, okay, the people who are governing the UK at the moment. Can you imagine how many petitions they must be facing and how many voices of dissent and disagreement they must be facing at the moment? And quite deservedly, perhaps, but not a position I'd want to be in, I have to say. And just one more wafer-thin petition. And we know how that ended up on Monty Python. Okay, our motorhome, which is French, Pilote, the French are away till the 16th. All of them, so we're in limbo before we know anything. Think it's going to be a slow process. Fingers crossed for you. Bonne sorte to you. Stephen Clay, good luck with that. Watching from Bridgnorth, Shropshire. What a beautiful place that is. Yvonne Herman. Good morning to you, Yvonne. Due back to our second home in Portugal Thursday, but only just finished our quarantine from our last visit. Wow. So sounds like you're spending your life either at your second home in Portugal or in quarantine in your first home. What a crazy time. Thank you, Yvonne, as well. I think first comment from you. So you're very welcome. Lovely to see you here on the Good Morning Portugal live stream. Guten Morgen, or should I say bon dia from Wiesbaden, Germany. Yes, I'm an American living in Germany, and I plan to retire in Portugal, possibly in the Algarve, no later than mid-2023. Well, of course, we did the Portugal Calling webinar the other night. Very popular it has been too. And we spoke to a fabulous company. I've got to get the pronunciation of this right. Actually, the letters of it are E and I. EI Migration Services, as in emigrant and immigrant. AE. And it was wonderful because Gilda Pereira took us through the whole D7 process, which is the visa you need for retiring if you're coming from outside the EU. And very informative it was too. So good luck with you, Jim. Currently in Wiesbaden, an American living in Germany, hoping to be here no later than mid-2023. And we've clearly got a few friends and pals from expatsportugal.com this morning. If you are a premium member, remember, you get 10% off those migration services. I thought it was pretty good value, actually, but you get a further 10% off if you're a premium member of Expats Portugal, which I think only costs you €20 a year anyway. So you'll get your money back if you do get your discount off your migration services there. Cheers, Jim. Thanks for saying Guten Morgen and bon dia to us. Here, Joanna Thomas is saying, morning from a mad woman in Wales, desperately saving to buy a forever home in central Portugal. I love the sound of that scenario, Joanna. In what way are you mad, would you say? And before anyone jumps in, it's what Joanna's saying about herself, everybody. I'm not accusing her of being mad. I'm sincerely interested to find out why she thinks she is mad. Do you have a lot of cats? Maybe. Nothing wrong with that, but there is a cultural stereotype. Tell us, Joanna, why are you mad? We're a friendly bunch here and are happy to talk and share and support each other. Good morning from Devon, from Chris Grove. Good morning, Chris. How are you? I think another name, a new comment. Great to have your company this morning. How's Devon? My beloved Devon, that's where we were. And actually on my Facebook timeline, I'm seeing pictures this morning from 3 years ago of when we went to the firework display in Plymouth, which is incredible, or was incredible. I don't know if it will happen this year. And I just, great memories. And of course, we sailed from Plymouth to Santander as well. So happy memories of Devon, where we used to live, and particularly this morning of Plymouth. Where are you in Devon, Chris Grove? And what are your plans around Portugal, if you don't mind me probing and asking at this early hour of the day? Anu Bale, waiting for things to open up for us to be processing our D7 visa, Anu. Okay, I did hear, and somebody said on our webinar the other night, that the D7 visa process has opened up again. I don't know how that is for people living in India, for example, because I guess, you're dealing with local level consular efficiency and so on. So I'm not sure, but I do get the sense that things are moving there. Still no word for you, Loy, on how it is for Americans coming into Portugal at the moment. Maybe we'll be able to answer that question in due course. Bon dia, my dear. I like this, how you say that, Sean. Bon dia, my dear. I still have a couple of lovely houses that need a little bit of TLC, Central Portugal, close to Ceuta. That's Sean sneaking in a cheeky property ad there. Yes, that reminds me, I have a great photo to share with you. You do see some really hilarious Portuguese property pictures, and I've got a cracker for you this morning from my friend Gareth in the UK, which showed up on social media last night. But Sean, 2 houses in need a bit of TLC near Ceuta. PM me, tell me more. Could feature them maybe as a Casa do Dia. We occasionally look at property. People do like that feature, and I like to have a little look around the property, have a little sort of nosy about, and the sort of through the keyhole holiday place in the sun kind of vibe. So if you're selling property, get it listed on Expats Portugal, for one thing, expatsportugal.com, and send a PM to me with the details. I'll take a look, and it may well be featured as a Casa do Dia, and we can all have a little nosy around your properties, Sean. Stuart Bailey, good morning from Boa Vista Golf Resort, Lagos, where we are at our holiday home. Quarantine looming later this week on return to the UK, which is I suppose sort of a depressing proposition for a lot of people. Although, reframing it, you can have a 2-week holiday after your holiday, obviously if funds and circumstances allow, on your return to the UK. So it's almost like a sort of decompression from your holiday, isn't it? The quarantining back in the UK. Thanks to you, Stuart, for saying hi this morning. And how is your game? Are you there at Boa Vista Golf Resort because you love golf, or is that a happy coincidence? So yeah, what's your handicap? How's it going? And have you been able to play a lot while you've been here? Thanks, Stuart. Yes, I watched that webinar, says Jim McDonald. It was fantastic. That's a good review. Cheers, Jim. It sounds like it was helpful to you. Wayne Barker. Wayne, how are you? Haven't heard from you for a little while. Bondi, you're sadly returning to UK for a while. It's a pretty past where people are so sad to return home. Back soon. We'll miss all things Portuguese and intend to explore further when we get back. Yeah, so it sounds like you had a pretty good explore. He was, of course, basically a servant to others, I think, on the trip to Portugal, chopping wood, serving wine, and that sort of thing, and still had a fantastic time. Some people are happy in that service role. Hopefully, the world will get to grips with the pandemic, and it'll be easier to move around. Bringing the car back, so need to jump through all those hoops. Any help there? Expats Portugal Forum, get on there, Wayne. There will be loads of information about how to. Are you matriculating your car? Because I have to tell you, I mean, I've not seen many posts, social media threads, anything like that, that suggest in any way that bringing your vehicle to Portugal is easy. In fact, the matriculation costs are allegedly illegal, and the EU centrally have asked Portugal to stop it, I believe. But there'll be plenty of info in the forum. Rest assured about that. And I suspect one or two people might tell you a thing or two here on the Good Morning Portugal live stream as well. I was very lucky with the vehicle that I brought to Portugal. Excuse me. It's still rotting, I think, in a Mazda dealership in the Caldas de Reina. Mercifully, and just by sort of wonderful quirk of circumstance, it broke down here, so I didn't have to matriculate it or repatriate it or anything. And I have to say, the RAC insurance policy that I had was just one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. Shout out to you, RAC, and your fabulous holiday insurance, certainly for our little Mazda Bongo. It was amazing. The whole package that sprung into action after our vehicle broke down. Anyway, good morning to you, Wayne, and looking forward to having you on the Expat Sport Report again. Now you're back on your familiar terra firma. Anu, watched that, pretty informative. Oh, that's good news, Anu. So you saw the D7 visa webinar as well. We got more coming up. We're looking at citizenship on the 19th. What's that? A week on Thursday? Yeah, week Thursday. We will be looking, we're jumping the gun with Gary there. We will be looking at what happens after those 5 years of temporary residency and what happens in the process of becoming a citizen. So that's our next Portugal Calling webinar, which will be a week on Thursday, which will be the 19th of August. And someone else from Loy is in Texas. I'll come back to you, Gary. Loy is in Texas. So Shannon, good morning, y'all. How many cats does it take to make you mad, Carl? And do chickens count? I would say yes. I've been out and fed my chickens. I've only got 6 chickens myself. But do you mean can chickens count, or do chickens count there? I think my chickens are getting to know me. Whether they can count or not, I know. I'm just being pedantic there. I would say, yeah, once you get into double figures for cats, and sadly, in our stereotyping world, if you're a woman with over 10 cats, you probably do qualify for that rather eccentric status that we were alluding to earlier on. And that's with Joanna, who hasn't replied. Maybe I've offended her already. Oh dear, that's not a good start, is it, to our relationship, Joanna? Oh no, here she is. Fireworks cancelled in Plymouth this year. I have a house there too. No cats. I'm a dog person. Mad because I talk to myself a lot. Come on, we all do that. And want to name one of my chickens. You are mad. You've got a chicken called Chlamydia. I want to name one of my chickens Chlamydia. Lost my son. Oh no, I lost my son last year, and he always said I should use that for one of my chickens. So we'll do in his memory. Oh, sorry to hear that, Joanna. And yes, you have to do that. If your son suggested that, that's bonkers and brilliant. A chicken called Chlamydia. Missed the webinar. Is it available on your FB page? Yeah, it's on the. This is the D7 visa for retirees outside of the EU, Joanna. So it may not apply to you, but if you want to see it, yeah, go to our YouTube channel, go to the Expats Portugal YouTube channel as well, and a recording of the webinar is there. So lots of love to you, Joanna, and sorry if I've been a bit too rough and ready with my humor on you. Sounds like you had, you've had a very difficult time in the last 12 months. So lots of love to you from me and all of the Good Morning Portugal live stream, and we're all behind you in calling your chicken Chlamydia. That's hilarious. Okay, great to make your acquaintance. Before we go back into this toilet humor thing, where Gary is already sharing his own anecdotal man, Gary Austin from Alvazra, let me just share this property picture with you. Now, from time to time, you will see the most extraordinary Portuguese property pictures, which we have grown to love and be amused by. Look at this. This is a rental property. I'm pretty certain it's in Portugal. I'm telling that, or I'm able to discern that because of a number of things, which I will go through in just a moment when I've made the screen a little bit clearer. There you go. That's a bit better. So I'm sharing this image last night that showed up on social media, and you'll see that we think it's Portugal. There are ceramic tiles on the floor. There's a marble worktop there. There's a massive water heater, which I suspect EDP will charge you about 20 euros every time you heat that bad boy up just to have a bath. I'm looking that there are, this is quite a Portuguese thing. They look like electricity sockets above the sink. Always very handy when you're blending. It does look Portuguese. And that vista outside, oh yeah, shutters. So we are looking at a Portuguese property here. I'm pretty certain of that. And if you take a closer look, this is why Portuguese property pictures are so good for a laugh and a bit of humor. This is what Gareth said last night. Did the agent realize that there was somebody expired on the on the balcony there? Now, I sincerely hope they're not, and that they were just sunbathing at the same time that the estate agent came round. Maybe the lady of the house said, look, don't disturb my husband whilst he's sunbathing. He gets very irritable. Just take the picture. Another explanation, and I'm interested in your explanations as well, but is he demonstrating how wide the balcony is, possibly, by lying down and demonstrating that? But there is a gentleman, if you look closely on your screen, this shot of this fine kitchen dining sort of studio flat area, there is a man lying down on the balcony. Makes a change from the old bin bags in the Adega, I think. But that's an awesome picture. Thank you for sharing that with me, Gareth. Late last night after I got back, did a lot of driving yesterday, taking our friends around, showing them this part of the world, the Barada region, and ending up on Barra Beach and at Doterra, the vegetarian restaurant last night. So I just sat there and I had a cold beer. I like one of the Preta Sagres Mini, the stout beer. And so got the kids to bed. Mrs. M crawled into bed exhausted as well. I like to sit there and decompress for a little while with a beer. And then I couldn't stop laughing when I saw that picture. So Joanna says, he's heard me calling for my chicken. And died laughing. So that's the one possible explanation. Thank you for that, Joanna. Valerie is saying, is that guy dead? On the balcony. Valerie, you'll see there, Valerie of Spencer Beck's estate agency. She'll have seen an awesome property picture or two in her time. I'll share a little secret with you. I have started a little Facebook group called Portuguese Property Pics, and I hope to see many more pictures of that kind. Valerie, you must have a few of those. Do send them over to me. The missing black rubbish bag, though, so funny. We love property photos, so you know what I mean. The black bin bags in the Adega. It's a classic, isn't it? It's almost like it's not a mistake. It's like you have to demonstrate how many bags of rubbish your seller is capable of holding. Maybe that's why. Look, you can say, oh, there's at least 40 old bin bags in there. That's a very capacious seller. Okay. So you obviously like this. You obviously like this theme, the Portuguese property pics. I'm going to come back to you in just a moment, Gary. The comments are out of control and making me laugh too much. Jay says, is there small print saying man not included? I imagine some people would find that a nice bonus. Oh, look, we're laughing so much it's messed up my green screen. I've got to sort that out now. That's what they need, isn't it? They need to use green screens maybe for the property pictures. Oh, you lot, you're cracking me up. Gary's saying it's the bedroom with a live demonstration. You aren't going to have a lie in there, are you? As soon as the sun comes up in that bedroom, you're up and at it. No, any of my agents took that, they'd be redoing it, and they quake in fear if they take a photo with a toilet seat up. Very good property photo etiquette. I wasn't in any way casting nasturtiums at you and your fabulous agency, Valerie. Yes, but Valerie knows how to school her estate agents. No toilet seats up. So yes, gentlemen, always you should lower the toilet seat, as should estate agents if they're taking a photograph of a property. Get back out there and redo those photos. That's awesome. So yeah, I think that group's going to be a winner. Look it up, Portuguese property pics on Facebook. Be a nice light-hearted change, wouldn't it, for some of the stuff we're seeing on Facebook, which I'm guilty of sharing and promoting as well. That's some polarizing opinion, but that will be a nice bit of light relief. It's the bedroom, Gary. Fantastic. Okay, so let's move from toilet seats that are left up in property pictures to toilets themselves. Lavatory. I mean, I've known people get offended the use of the word toilet, and they would rather hear, washroom or lavatory or something like that. So I am going to be talking toilets right now, and that is because I nearly went into the ladies, and this will be explained to you very simply in just a moment. We'll tell Gary's story here. Yes, mistakenly got in the ladies' WC a few times. On one occasion, the lack of urinals didn't make the penny drop, so wandered into a cubicle. Oh no, leaving the door open to have a wee, not to put too fine a point on it. Then some women walked past the door. Nice flowers, though. Yes, ladies' toilets are often a lot more civilized, aren't they, than gentlemen's? And I'm talking as though I've got lots of experience. And sadly, I've got more experience than I would have wanted. Thank you, Gary. That's a cracking story. I've got more experience than I would have wanted. And the reason is, here's a bit of Portuguese vocabulary for you, in case you didn't know this already. Man is homem and woman is mulher, which, of course, if you put it on a toilet door, the H or the M, you're going to end up with an M on the ladies' toilet, aren't you? Mulher. And at very quick glance, I mean, most of us are a little bit sort of conscious or unthinking whilst we're on our way to the lavatory. We have urgent business in mind. We might be out enjoying ourselves, not thinking too hard or deeply about this. We walk towards the area of the hostelry where the lavatories are, and we see an M on the door. Us men see an M on the door and think that means M for man or men, and in we go. Now, this happened to me in IKEA, of all places, and luckily I had to take one of my children, I think my daughter, to the toilet, and that's always a pretty grim experience, anyway, isn't it? You got a little daughter, and you take her to the men's lavatory, and you use a cubicle. Well, I think I must have seen an M on the door. Took my daughter in to use the facilities, as it were, and it didn't quite add up. I couldn't quite compute that there were, so it seemed to be like a family vibe, and there were women in there. But I had other matters on my mind. Our kids leave it to the last minute, needed to get in the cubicle. Went into the cubicle, shut the door, could hear women talking mainly, as women do, and women, as we know, women go to the toilet together. So there was quite a communal atmosphere in this sal de baño. And which I thought was the men's, turned out to be the ladies. And this is dawning on me as we're using the facilities. And now I am locked in a cubicle inside a women's toilet, inside IKEA in Lisbon. And I'm thinking, so what do I do now? Obviously, we've got the matter in hand to take care of. We've done that. And I'm thinking, do I stay in here until the store closes to save myself the horror and shock of these poor women outside in the toilet, going to the private area of the building? Do I come up? Because I look like, that Eurovision winner, don't I? Whose name escapes me, forgive me. But, I guess he's not kidding anyone with his beard, is he? And I wasn't either. And I had on, I couldn't possibly stay in there for the rest of the day until the store closed, like some sort of Hollywood movie, because I think my daughter would have given the game away after 2 or 3 hours waiting for the store to close. So I just had to make a run for it, and maybe I was left with another moral maze dilemma, because of course you'd want to wash your hands on the way out. So I don't remember; it's all a bit of a blur now. But what I do remember is the horrified look on a woman's face as I came out. And maybe we did a quick rinse and gone. But gentlemen, please, if you see an M on the door of a lavatory here in Portugal, it probably means mulher, woman, not man. Okay, so that's a service. I apologize to any woman, a lady who I've offended by appearing in the lavatory, and that is my explanation, and therein lies my apology as well. So, yes, Conchita verse. Hannah, hello. Funny, we haven't heard from you for a while. And then you come up trumps with a pub quiz winner trivia there, knowing that the bearded lady who won Eurovision a few years back, probably about 5 years ago now, was indeed Conchita Wurst. Wurst as in sausage. Right. How are you, Hannah? When you refurb a bathroom in Portugal, is it bad form not to include a bidet? Excellent question, and a question of considerable cultural importance, I would say. I've been involved in a refurb where I've removed, you might have seen my collection of bidets. I was thinking of opening a Portugal's biggest collection of bidet center just off the IC2. Maybe have a massive fiberglass bidet on the main road there, funneling traffic off to our tourism center where we celebrate the history of the bidet. This is a 15-room pension, so it had a bidet in every room. But your question is a good one. Is it bad form not to include a bidet? I'm in a recently refurbed place that doesn't have a bidet, and I hope I'm not betraying any confidences there, because I have heard that it's like it is a legal requirement to have a bidet. I'm not sure if that's true. I have heard it, but I don't know if it's true. It may be Valerie who can answer that question, but that's such a good question. So the important questions that have percolated to the top this morning are Americans allowed easily into Portugal at the moment? And is it bad form when you refurb a bathroom in Portugal? Bathroom, that's the word you should use. When you refurb a bathroom in Portugal, is it bad form not to include a bidet? Thank you, Hannah. And she says, I'm always listening. How's it going, Hannah? I hope you're well. It's when you're washing your hands and someone comes in to fix their makeup when you feel really out of place. Sorry, we are putting our hands up this morning, us expat and explorer gentlemen who found ourselves in the wrong bathroom. We are having a collective apology. Sorry here. And what you could have done, Gary, is you could have fixed your makeup as well, just to, emphasize and make out that you're absolutely in the right place. What's the big deal? Yeah, Real tricky one. M is mulher, and you want to be looking for the bathroom with the letter H on it, chaps, for home. Bit of vocabulary, bit of culture for you there. And I'm looking forward to getting your question answered as well. Hannah Downing. I think we'll leave it there this morning. And I do thank you for a very good giggle this morning here on the Good Morning Portugal live stream. We're, of course, a YouTube channel and a podcast. Thousands now, tens of thousands of downloads on the podcast. If you do prefer to consume the show in that way, we are available on Spotify. That's the easiest way to listen to the Good Morning Portugal live stream as a podcast. And I would like to say to those of you who do consume it in that way, do send me a message. That and along with anything else that you think I should be aware of, that I should be covering here on the Good Morning Portugal live stream, give me a shout. Send me an email to carl@carlmunson.com. Do comment as well in the YouTube comments. Always fantastic. Gordianus, one of our top correspondents. And we've got a few regulars on the YouTube channel making comments, but we don't hear too often from those who listen on the podcast. So if that's you listening now on the podcast, thank you so much for doing that in the first instance. And then why don't you drop me a line? carl@carlmunson.com. Go to our blog as well if you want to support the project. Someone very kindly, I think it was Jeff, very kindly said he thought this was worth €1 a week, so €4 a month. If you want to help crowd fund the service, go to allthews.coffee, ko-fi.com/Carl Munson. Couple more comments before we do go this morning. Jay says women have no shame in you. Oh yeah, that's true. Women have no shame in using the men's cubicles, though. Thanks for that tip, Carl. Never even thought about that. Yeah, I'm saving people a lot of embarrassment, possibly, and even an arrest. I would have gone straight into the end door, saved some embarrassment there. My pleasure. You're welcome. And Sean says, when we built our new house 12 years ago, all four bathrooms had to have a bidet. I said, maybe it is law. It's not just bad form to not include it. It's against the law, perhaps. I was going into same ladies' toilet cubicle for 2 months. So I think I've lifted a lid on a taboo and caused a mass outpouring of apology and culpability here. Was going into same ladies' toilet cubicle for 2 months in the first cafe here in Portugal, I'm assuming, Will, before someone pointed out the obvious. And how lovely is that people let you do it for 2 months without wanting to upset you? You felt daft. I'm not surprised. But thank you for your confession there, Will. And Allah from Claire Bendel. Good morning to you, Claire. How are you? What are you sipping on this morning? A paleo smoothie, perhaps, with your intermittent fasting ways? I wonder. Claire was, of course, a guest here talking about her fantastic 50s, fantastic, fabulous 50s project, which you can find on YouTube as well. We must get you on again, Claire, because, I'm thinking I need to get a little bit fitter. Just coming back from feeding the chickens this morning and walking the dogs and just puffing a bit coming uphill. We need to talk. Okay, have a great day, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. A few guests in the pipeline, actually. And Gary, you wanted to talk about bread. The correspondent who I spoke to, who might give us a guide to Portuguese bread, has said that's not his expertise, but he does have some other very interesting areas of expertise around Portugal. James is his name, and I think we're going to get him on in the next few days, or certainly in the next week or two, to talk about his areas of expertise, which actually he said we could look at some of the downsides living in Portugal, which we will do humorously. Let's not be Pollyannas. Let's not be Portuguese Pollyannas. There are challenges and obviously things that can be transformed, fixed, looked at, improved, and so on. And he writes a little bit about some of the downsides because, there is a deification that goes on, isn't there? Particularly within the retirement sort of community of like, the most amazing place to live in the world is Portugal. And, there are some downsides, which I think, we should discuss and have a look at. So hopefully we'll have James on and other interesting guests who my people are talking to their people. We're exchanging emails. So, I'm trying to go. And here are a few more comments. No, black coffee again, lol, and apple cider vinegar. Yes, the breakfast of champions. I made one of those for Mrs. M this morning. The Hunniger, or Throbscottle, as I also like to call it. Hannah, no. If that place is needed for a man to lay down. So you're suggesting, Jeannie, that the man on the balcony was indeed just like a little kind of, not a man cave exactly, but like a a male relaxation area, because that's how an estate agent would reframe it, right? It's not like an unconscious man on the balcony. It's like, and here is the kitchen and diner, and if you would like to look through the double French patio doors there onto the balcony, you will see an area especially created for gentlemen to recline upon, to take their afternoon siesta. And that's turning it into a feature. Thank you, Jeannie from Belgium this morning. A place for men to lie down. I think I might go and do that myself now. Take care. Bye for now. Te logo. Te já. Abraços, beijinhos. Ciao, ciao.